Did you know about King Solomon? King Solomon was the wisest, most richest man ever on the earth. His wealth was, if it was today's standards, it would be probably over $1 trillion, due to the gold, the silver, the bronze, of everything he had. Just massive, massive amounts of money, wisdom, great wisdom from God. But he also loved women, and he had 700 wives and 300 concubines. And this is a picture just kind of represents, I mean, it's hard to get 1,000 women in one picture, but that's what he had in his life. Of course, one of the famous stories about Solomon is, when the baby was brought to him, and talk about splitting the baby in half, and the true mother came forward, and with great wisdom, all that was solved. One thing about King Solomon was he built the temple for the Lord, and the temple was a great and powerful amazement to see. And if you read any of the works of Josephus, especially Josephus, I think is book 8, chapter 3, it goes in great detail about the temple. There is a little discrepancy between the Bible and the writings of Josephus. Some of the writings that he did might have been misinterpreted through the years about how many lavers they had, which is places for the priest to bathe, all the different side rooms, the hidden chambers, and all this stuff that was in Solomon's temple for the Lord. There was so much gold with the cherubims, with the brass plates were 3 inches thick. The Hiram was the guy that came in to help build this, and they talks about the cedar trees. It talks over, I think it's over 183 times in the Bible about the cedar trees. And the cedar trees are in this, they're great from Lebanon, the country of Lebanon. The cedar trees are massive. They're great. They're great wood to work with. And that they installed this inside this temple. A lot of them were coated with gold and silver and platinum and bronze. And the angels were made. And, some of these pillars were, 35, feet tall, 18 feet around. And it's just amazement to see. And he all dedicated everything he dedicated in this to the Lord. He made it like an offering to the Lord in all these things. The Bible talks a little bit about it in First Judges, about the temple, but the writings of Josephus really go into in depth about the rooms and about the artwork and about the beams and the side chambers and how tall the side chambers were and how many side chambers there were. Kind of like a secret tunnels and defense mechanisms that this temple had. So King Solomon, he was the wisest man ever walked the earth, probably the richest man ever walked this world. And to see how he got corrupt, God warned him. God talked to him twice, and the second time God talked to him, he warned him not to put anything before God. Don't put any false idols before me. Don't put anything in front of me to worship. And what happened? He did. He built statues on hills. He put offerings to different gods, and he got God's blessing. And a lot of people today, we put stuff in the world in front of God, and our blessings, the favor of God is not there no more because we get sidetracked. Kind of like King Saul was the same way. So King Solomon, he was a wise man, but it came to a point to where his wisdom was not there because he started serving the false gods and making sacrifices and offerings to the false gods and building statues to the false gods, and he lost favor with God for a time.